Hello, this is Mira Dunnick, your very favorite advanced color consultant with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and I'm coming to you today to teach you a simple makeup application class. I've had a lot of requests from this from my clients, my consultants, and also the people that I know through Embracing Your Essence, of which I am a client, Patsy Sanders, and I am also an affiliate. So I came into Patsy's space recently because of my very best friend in the world who's in my Mary Kay team but does it as a hobby and who is growing her business currently in a different country. So she and I are not together all the time and we interact primarily through video chats and different things like that. And when she was visiting most recently, she was having a image consultant do a little consultation with her. And I thought, oh, good for you. That's great. And after I saw the difference that having your colors energetically align with your energy made for my best friend, I decided to get Patsy Sanders to become my stylist as well. And over the last few months, as we've been working together, I've been helping her to upgrade and update a few things for her site and to do some things that are out of her expertise for her clients. And she has been helping me to streamline my wardrobe and be just feeling my very best. So today I'm going to teach basic makeup application, and you'll see that I'm starting with no makeup. And this is called brush class because we're going to really be focusing on our tools, and tools really make everything happen. So when I talk about things from the Mary Kay website, you may say, oh, she's not my Mary Kay consultant. Well, the reason why you're seeing this, if you're a Mary Kay customer and you're seeing this, and I'm not your consultant, it's because your consultant is probably being mentored by me. So she wanted to share this content that I've already done with her. So when you hear me say, go to my Mary Kay website or say my Mary Kay website, think I need to ask her or I need to go to my consultant's Mary Kay website. And if you're seeing this and you're in Embracing Your Essence client, just know that we might become really good friends soon. And I'm going to also make sure that you guys know you're going to be getting an email from Patsy with the recording of this class on how to source all the things that we're going to be talking about, including the tools. So let me go back to the brushes. So we're going to be using today this 5-piece Mary Kay Essential Brush Collection. There are more brushes than just this, but this set of products is a great quality set of products. It has everything you need for really basic stuff, and it's very user friendly, and it comes in a great case. Now, as I do my application here in a minute, you're going to see me using all kinds of different brushes that are all Mary Kay, that have all come from the catalog at some point. And if you have questions about specific brushes that I use that don't look familiar, make sure to ask me, type it in the comments, or send me a message or an email. And all my information is going to be included in the streaming event where you're watching this now, or in the YouTube video while you'll watch it later. So as you can see, I have on no makeup right now. So makeup doesn't make the woman. It just enhances the things that we have. Just like clothes don't make the person, it just brings specific things into focus. So what I want to start with is talking about prep. It's really important to have a good skincare routine. I have seen so many clients be like, oh, I'm just so unhappy with my foundation because it looks a certain way, because it doesn't have, like my pores look huge because of this makeup. And then I come to find out that they don't wash their face and they don't moisturize. Well, you can only do so much with paint. If you haven't washed the wall, if you haven't prepped the wall, it's not going to hold the color. It's not going to look right. The texture is going to be wrong, whether we're talking about walls or your skin. So the very easiest thing I can recommend to you for prep is our Mary Kay 4-in-1, and I don't know how you're going to be able to see this very well, 4-in-1 cleanser and antioxidant moisturizer. This is a great way to get 4 out of 5 of your basic skincare steps taken care of, and it's very affordable. And you can get that. You can look for that at your consultant's website. Now, we're also going to talk about, I'm going to use some extra stuff that I use when I do these brush classes live, including I just did my foundation primer all over. So I put it a little here, a little on the touch areas. And then I'm also going, and this is going to have to hold my foundation on when we get there. I'm also going to use Deep Wrinkle Filler. And it's got a little lipstick on it because I moved things around and it got a little crazy. Okay, so the Deep Wrinkle Filler has time release retinol in it. I'm just using a tiny little bit. And this is something you can use morning and evening. You can even carry this around with you if you are a speaker and you travel. I am now over 40. I am almost 45. So I have expression lines that don't go away when I stop making that face. So I'm going to fill this in, and you're going to be able to see, when I get to the end of this, you'll be able to really see how the lines that are up here particularly fill in. And it's crazy. It happens literally in 5 minutes. So the brush set is amazing. You're going to love that. In fact, I have a special offer for people who watch this class about on the brush set. So make sure to look in the description or in the event in the group that you're in to get that information. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about foundation and concealer as I go in to use that. I don't know if you've ever heard of the term concealer flashback, but I'm from Oregon originally. That's where I started. That's where the bulk of my Mary Kay business has been, in Oregon and Idaho. And I have a lot of people who are like, oh, well, I don't use foundation. I just use concealer all over my face. Well, concealer is basically matte touch-up paint, and it is going to reflect light in a way that's really weird. And let's go ahead, and I'm going to start with concealer. So I am going to put some concealer in some key areas. You can either do concealer underneath your foundation or over your foundation, depending on your preference, but you can see how the light is catching this in kind of an odd way. So if I were to paint my whole face, even if it's the right color, it's going to look a little bit wrong. It's going to look like matte touch-up paint. Okay, so now I'm going to use some under eye corrector, which is at least got a light reflector in it, and this is close to my regular skin tone, and it doesn't reflect the light in such a weird way. I'm going to use that as a highlighter. Now, what I wanted to tell you about highlighting and contouring, because I know that since it's got complicated, it's got kind of a bad rap, but this is like the number one thing that you can do, even if you don't wear makeup. If you fill in your brows and you do some highlighting and then a little contouring, even on bare skin, you're going to look amazing. And your face is gonna look so much more finished. All right, I'm losing things everywhere here. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab some brushes. I'm gonna use my foundation brush, my angled foundation brush. This does not come in the set, but it's a great add at about $16. Okay, so we're gonna do, and I've got my mirror over here because I cannot, if you do video conferencing or whatever, you know that everything is backwards. So that makes it really complicated if you're trying to figure out what you're doing in the thing that looks like a mirror. Okay, so now I've got this blended out, and you can see how the blended down version really helps soften everything. It makes me look like I'm not sleep deprived, which some of us just look like that. Some of it you can do with cream, and some of it, the older you get and your genetics, that's what it is. All right, so next step, let's talk about foundation. So we have options. And if you're not sure where to start with foundation, what you're going to want to do is go to your consultant's Mary Kay website. And let me go screen share. And you're going to be able to take a foundation quiz. Now, I will say that this is fairly accurate, but you're going to want to make sure you're going to follow this quiz, and you're going to find your shade recommendation in the liquid foundation, the 3D liquid foundation from Mary Kay. Now, this is not the only option that you have for foundation by any means, but it's a good place to start. Our other options for foundation are a CC cream, which is one of my favorites because it does multiple things all at once. And this is what I would wear if I'm just if I want a little bit of coverage, but I'm not going to be on camera. It's not quite enough for on camera. Or if I don't really wear foundation at all, this is what my daughter wears for foundation. The other choice that I really love to have as a touch-up, and this is my personal compact, so it's a little bit of a mess, is this cream to powder foundation. And it's in a cake, it fits in my compact, in my perfect palette, and this foundation is really easy to carry around and do touch-ups with, so this is what I carry in my purse all the time. So today I'm gonna use my liquid foundation, and my shade is a beige C130, so I'm a light beige, and I have a cool undertone, which means I have a red undertone, and 130 is just the number. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my brush again, and I'm gonna apply my foundation all over my face. And this is where it gets really quiet, a little boring. You can see that I started out, and now as I put on my foundation, you can tell that I have on a little bit of lip color. I'm gonna be talking about, I'm gonna share some lip techniques, and I'm also gonna share some color suggestions. And one of the tools that you're gonna be getting, Embracing Your Essence clients, and I think my clients as well, I'm gonna make sure that you get a recommended basic lipstick shades handout that you can work with. Okay, so I need just a little bit more. And the reason why I use a brush is that it blends a little bit better in the hairline, and that is important. And you also use slightly less product, which is always good. And these are really easy to keep clean with a brush cleaner or Barbasol. So here we go. Now I've got my foundation on. The next step I'm going to do is do my cheeks and my contouring with my powder contours. So I have got, blush is definitely enjoying a moment. So these are the colors I'm going to focus on using today. This is a little bit hard to get it to do it right with the blur. So I'm going to stop the blur for just a minute so I can show you what I am doing. Okay, and here you are in my bedroom. Okay, so you can see one of them's broken. I went on a trip this weekend. So I've got my highlighter, my contour, hint of pink, wineberry, and golden copper. And those are the colors that I like as sort of really basic colors for that really work for everyone for cheeks. So let's go back to, I think we'll leave the blur off for just a minute. All right, so I'm going to use my cheek brush, which is angled. And I'm going to use the bottom angle part to pick up a little bit of my contour powder. And I'm going to go from here up under my cheekbones. If you're not sure where to start, roll your brush down and find right underneath your cheekbone. They're going to be sisters, not twins. So each side is going to look slightly different. One of the things that you can request from me is a shade chart that has the suggestions of where to put your product depending on your face shape. And that definitely, everyone is sort of is a hybrid. So there's not necessarily a wrong or a right way to do it. There's definitely a preference for depending on the effect that you want to get. So now that I have my contour on, and I'm going to do a little bit, I'm going to show you something neat because I have a very short neck. So this is really important. It makes a huge difference in terms of how long my neck looks. So now I did a little bit of contour underneath. You can do liquid contour for sure. I just find that powder is super forgiving. And if you make a mistake, it's not 20 minutes out of your life. Okay, now I'm going to take the top edge of my brush and I'm going to put a little bit of highlight on there. I'm using the highlight in Glazed. That's my favorite. It's a little bit peachy, so it makes my red tone skin look youthful and glowy. So even right there, look how great I am. But I am going to pop on, I'm going to do just a little bit of hint of pink. So I'm going to use the middle of my brush right here. The other thing that I think is great about this brush is it's got a special divot that you can use so that you can get exactly the angle you want depending on what you're doing. And I'm going to use my light colored blush. It's going to go underneath my eye on the apple, just on the apple of my cheek. And you can see how this is a nice, really finished, very dewy look, very strawberry girl, which is the trend right now. Okay, so next, let's talk about eyes. So I put together about 8 shadow shades in our Mary Kay perfect or petite palettes. So this holds 4 eyeshadows, and these are all refillable, which is great. So these guys, this isn't by any means like the only thing you can use, but these are all, they're mostly matte shades, and they're shades that work really well for mix and match. I will have a complete list of recommended shades for basic makeup application by skin tone that will be available for you as well. So I decided I'm going to work out of this palette today, and it's a little different than what I would usually do because I usually do light with a little bit of a sparkle. But one of the things that I learned, have sparkle, it should be the last thing to go on, because if it doesn't go on last, it's going to be all over your face. Okay, so let's start with brushes. I was at a workshop this past weekend, and the makeup artist who was teaching, she said, "Why do y'all have more socks than you have brushes?" So even though our really great set of brushes, a really great essential brush collection is going to come with 3 really good brushes to start out, you know, don't feel like, I feel like it's really important to add to that. And when she put it in terms of socks, as a Northwest girl, I was like, okay, I understand what you mean. I'm with that. Okay, so let me get my mirror where I'm going to be doing it right where you can see it. And I'm going to start with an all over eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to dip it into my lightest color, which is hazelnut. I've a couple times before I've talked about like where you should start. Patsy and I just recently had a conversation online about where you should start with choosing colors. And on your color fan, where you really want to start is your flesh tones, your foundations, and flesh tones, foundations, and your pastel colors. So today I'm using some things that are in that realm. I think one of the biggest things I notice is, especially for white women, they tend to always wear white and brown, and that is it. And they think that that's the only thing that's neutral, and they buy basically varieties of that over and over and over again. Okay, so I've got on my hazelnut. I put it, because of my eye shape, I'm keeping it all in the lower corner. The next shade I'm going to use with my angle brush is going to be, I think I'm going to do what is this one? It's not Cashmere Haze. It's the other one. I'm having a moment. Let's look. Let's take a look, because it says on the back. Soft Heather. I'm going to use Soft Heather as my accent color, or as my mid-tone color. And I'm going to line up my brush right here from the corner of my eye to the end of my eyebrow. And I'm going to draw a little bit of a line. And then I'm going to go over near the crease. Now, because I have a very deep set eye, I'm going to go a little bit above the natural crease, not completely, not just on the crease. Okay, so we're going to match them up. And here we go. I'm already loving this. I mean, these are 2 of my favorite colors, 2 best-selling colors, and they're both matte tones. These are great choices, because this is actually in my Tranquil. These are foundations and tranquils for me, so that is really going to set the tone, and it's going to be really versatile if I were to go traveling. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is I'm going to do my third color. I'm going to do my accent eyeshadow color, and I'm going to use Merlot as my accent color today. And let me see if I can find the brush I really want, the smudger brush. Okay, so we're going to steal it from this brush collection. It's a good thing I have demos. All right, so I'm going to use my smudger brush. So I used my all over eye brush, I used my angled brush, and then I'm going to use my smudger brush. And the smudger brush, I'm actually going to use, I'm going to take this color, and partly I'm doing this because cut crease is all the rage right now, but I am going to define the crease. I'm also going to put it along my eye line, because I will add eyeliner, because I like eyeliner, but you also want a little bit of eyeshadow to set your eyeliner. One of the things I recently learned, and that was just posted this week on my social media for my business was that you need to have something matte to keep your eyeliner and your eyebrows from going everywhere. So you can see that I've got that on. It's not blended yet, so we'll go back and blend it. You always want to do extra blending. You can't just put it on and go necessarily if you want to do more than two colors. And you probably shouldn't, even if you're just doing two colors. You should probably always do a little bit of blending out so that it doesn't, so there's not stripes and lines in your shadow. Okay, this is looking pretty great. And I don't even have my lashes or my liner on. That's going to be kind of a long process, but so let me check my notes and see if there's anything else I need to talk to you about before we go. Okay, framing the brows. All right, we talked about framing. I used a brow pencil today to lightly fill in my eyeliner. One of the things that, and it got, I'm not sure where mine went. One of the things that I really love is the volumizing brow tint, and it makes a huge difference. In fact, my after pictures I will post in the event and in various places will show, I'll show you the difference between the brow tint and no brow tint. It's really easy to use, especially if you can't always see what's happening without your readers or your cheaters. We talked about cheeks. I did my cheeks and my contouring for you. And really, I think the cheeks, I'm going to add all of the different colors so that you understand the difference. So I have my wineberry, and my golden copper up here. And I'm going to show you where they all go. So I've got a light, bright color. So it's here and on the top. So with a brighter color, you can see that a little bit on here on the middle of the brush. I'm going to go from here and I'm going to go up into my hairline. And you can see how that changes the impact of what I'm doing. On the other side, I'm going to use the golden copper, which is a great fire tone, and it's kind of bronzy. If you're looking for something neutral, that's a great way to do it. And I'm going to use that sort of where I'm using my contour. You can see how that changes the effect altogether. So the very last thing I want to talk to you about is waterproof eyeliners and lip liners, which will make a major difference in your makeup application. I'm not sure if I can find the one that I really want, which is my brown or steely one. So black is going to have to do. So we'll start with my eyeliner, my waterproof eyeliner. This has a really neat sharpening tip on it. So you can take it out and you can shape the tip as it has been used and isn't as great. So you are going to be able, you can do little dashes in order to get your eyeliner in the right spot, but you definitely want a liner brush in order to get it smoothed out and also to set the color on top. So my eyeliner looks okay. I could dash out the door like that, but it's going to smudge if I don't use my liner brush. So the liner brush that we have in our line is this little spoolie on one end and the liner brush on the other. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to use this crayon. It's a great crayon color. It will stay in place, but it will stay in place even better if you set it. So here we go. Brushing out the liner. You can also get this wet and you can create whatever color liner you really want and set it with your finishing spray and your eyeshadow primer. Okay, so now that I've got this on here, I'm going to set it with my Merlot color. So I'm going to dip right in here and I just put a little bit over the top. And that way it's not super defined and it's not super black. It's going to do exactly what it's supposed to, which is to make the base of my lashes look thicker and fuller. Okay, so we have a little whatever. All right, last but not least, let's talk about lips and lip color. I really love the new waterproof lip liners. especially if you're not really a makeup girl, get a lip liner, get a waterproof lip liner, line your lips completely with the lip liner. You can see I've already got one on, but let me add. So if you use it with a traditional lipstick, it's going to just make that look a little bit crisper and cleaner. So maybe when you're speaking, when you're presenting, when you're giving a talk, this is a great thing to do. You can also use it on its own and fill in your lip line and just fill it all in. And then that's going to be a great way for you to get a lot of coverage that's going to last all day long. I'm going to use my oil-free eye makeup remover to take off my lipstick really quick and show you what I think is one of the most interesting techniques, which is called a cloud lip. And the cloud lip is basically where you're going to concentrate your color on the inner part of your lip, and then you're going to use a brush, or you're going to go blah, 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 to get it to smooth out. Now, this is a little bit more messy. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect, and that might make it a little bit more doable for you. So let's talk about lipsticks real quick. I was just wearing Trademark Pink Matte Gel Lipstick. Some of my favorites are Boho Plum, which is a great color for everyone. It's easy to use. Berry Famous, which is a great one because it's going to be in the tranquils and in the foundations for a lot of the elements. This one, Think of Pink, this was a surprise to me. This is going to go really well for people who are air element, but it's also in the pastels for a lot of the elements as well. And then Appleberry, this is a great one. It can be a dynamic, it can be a red, it can be a tranquil, just depending on what you're doing. And then nude ones. So this one is Blush Velvet. And I think I showed you all the colors. There's a lot of different choices. So let's do a cloud lip. Oh, and I'm going to do, let's see. We're going to do a cloud lip. So I'm going to pick a darker lip color. So this is not necessarily what I would put with my thing, but it will work. And we've got, this one's Appleberry. Oops. All right. So you can see I just did the lipstick on the middle of my lips. And I'm going to go like this. And I'll fill in more right here. And definitely, I know that I think this is not going to be a trend. This is probably the trend that I do because I'm putting my makeup back on in the car, but it's not one that I'm going to do because I really do like a defined lip line. I love a lip liner so very much. So the very last thing we're going to talk about is lashes. Whether you've got falsies, whether you love mascara, I could teach a whole class on mascara. So I'm not going to do that now, but I'm going to show you my favorite mascaras from Mary Kay, why I love them. And it takes me about 3 minutes to put my mascara on because I do multiple coats. I have blonde eyelashes. But the Lash Love Fanorama, I love this brush. It's angled, it's contoured, it's everything. And then I really love the Intense Lash Intensity Mascara from Mary Kay. And it's kind of it's got an interesting brush and an interesting formula. Really, any of the mascaras from Mary Kay, I know all about them. And I say, yes, love it. Now, what you do want to make sure with your lashes, whether you're wearing falsies or wearing mascara, is make sure that they are well defined, that they're not clumpy, and that your mascara has the feature and benefit that you really want. So that's everything for me today. For more information on where to buy all these things, oh, I think there's one more thing I want to share with you before I go. I want to share with you the Mirror Me app that you can find on my Mary Kay website, on your consultant's Mary Kay website. And the Mirror Me app is one for your phone. So you can find that in your Apple Play Store or your Google, or in your App Store or your Play Store. And it's going to help you. You can go back and try on all the colors I used. You can try on all the colors on the list. and be able to know what they're going to look like for you with about, I'd say, 79% accuracy. I had a customer during the pandemic who who wears all the same colors pretty much every day. And one of the things she decided to do was to try this out and see how accurate it really was. So thanks, Michelle, for that help on that. So you can find all the information on prices, and you can request samples, and you can play with different colors on your consultants or my Mary Kay website. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have a great week.